Hi, Great Lift Design Mastermind and all the amazing people that end up looking at this. I'm Therese Kirby, and I'm here today with Melodie Reynolds, and she is the creator and genius behind Elate Cosmetics. And I'm going to let her tell you about that and what she does in the world. And then I'm going to ask her some really juicy questions so that you can get to know her and her vision for this world, because I think it's pretty amazing and pretty game-changing, and you all should know who she is. So Melodie, tell me about you and tell me about Elate.
So my name's Melodie, as Therese mentioned, and I'm the founder, and I like to call myself the chief adventurer of Elate, because owning a business is an adventure. Life is an adventure, I think. And my vision for my company is really my vision for life. I want everything that I do to make a difference in the world, no matter how small. I think that that is something that all of us want in one way or another. You know, I want all of my interactions with people to leave them a little bit better. I want to go to bed at night and feel like I have made the world a little bit better. I'm going to cry already.
That's why we love her.
And I feel like when I decided to start my own company, it was with that little nugget in mind, because my number one personal core value is kindness. I truly believe that if we can all do everything with kindness in our hearts, then the world would be a much better place. Now, granted, that can sometimes be difficult, but
it's a practice.
It is a practice, but when you come back to kindness in the end, you can always feel pride in your life and in the way that you have treated yourself and treated others. And so Elate for me was the culmination of all of those things that I was feeling while being involved in the beauty industry, which is notoriously unkind. Not only because the products that are available for us traditionally are products that are, you know, damaging to the environment, wasteful and producing garbage, tested on animals, and also really damaging for women specifically. You know, Elate is a gender neutral company, so we deal with everyone in all different identifying genders, but specifically, traditionally, the beauty industry has been aimed at women, and it's all about fear and shame. You know, you are not good enough, so buy my product. And then even after you've bought my product, you're still not good enough, so buy more. And that always really bothered me. I was a makeup artist, and I really made it my mission that everyone who sat down in my chair with me wasn't ever there to get their makeup done. They were really there to just feel better about themselves. And that was what I helped them do, and really helped them understand how putting on makeup wasn't about, you know, putting on a lipstick or a blush or a mascara so you look prettier. It was about honoring yourself with that ritual of looking in the mirror and loving what you see and caring for yourself enough to take care of yourself. And so that idea of the ritual of beauty, you know, coupled with my desire to create something kind for the world, is where Elate was born. And so our products are all toxin-free, cruelty-free, and vegan. We, of course, are cruelty-free in every sense of the word. So we use fair trade practices, and we don't produce anything that's harmful to the world. And more importantly, we want to celebrate people and their desire to have their own definition of beauty and have something that they own. You know, I own what I see when I look in the mirror. I don't look this way because this is the way that society says I should look. I look this way because this is how I want to look. And I think that that is really important. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Right. I think that's really fucking important for you to feel that this is me, this is how I look, and I don't give a shit what anybody thinks, because I love what I see. And so that's what Elate is all about.
There's some good core values. Love those core values.
Thank you.
I love all that. And also I love the lack of waste with the products. Lots of the products are packaged in this paper that grows flowers. So I plant them in my garden and I never know what's going to come up. And that's
seed paper.
Yeah, seed paper. I love seed paper.
It's that idea was actually born from a TED Talk that you should check out. It's about a concept called cradle to cradle. And this idea that we live in this culture of recycling, and that's great. Please don't stop recycling. However, one of the things that we don't realize is that for me to recycle this glass receptacle, actually takes just as much energy as it did to make it in the first place. So even though we're recycling the item, we're not actually saving energy, which is one of the things that's important. And so the cradle to cradle concept means that, you know, a thing is made and then it actually never dies. So instead of cradle to grave, it's cradle to cradle. So yeah, check it out. Just Google TED Talk, cradle to cradle. It's really good.
Awesome. So I want to ask you some view and personal questions.
Yeah.
I want to know, first of all, from you, what are your non-negotiables?
That's really good. So my non-negotiables are, coincidentally, it's also my company's non-negotiables. Yeah. Everybody knows what a Venn diagram is, right? Like the 3 circles and then intersecting in the middle is the thing that is you. So if my life were a Venn diagram, the 3 things that intersect and create Melodie is high quality, purposeful, and aligned. So everything that I do and you know, everything that I have in my life is all of those 3 things combined. And now that is difficult, especially when there's a really, really amazing pair of shoes that I found, because sometimes, you know, they may be high quality, but not purposeful. But I really strive to have all of these 3 things intersect. So my non-negotiables would be, you know, that it has to be high quality, purposeful, and aligned. So high quality interactions, high quality things and materials in my life, high quality experiences in myself when it comes to my own spirituality. I want everything to be high quality. Why would you not? You deserve quality. Why would you not want everything you experience to be high quality? And then purposeful, you know, I feel like living on purpose, being conscious about the things that we do, the things that we say, the things that we have, the people that are in our lives, you know, purposeful. Everything has a purpose, because if it's not purposeful, what the fuck do you have it for? Right? I think that is so important. And then alignment, of course, is aligned with my core values. Does it make me feel good? And you know, what is that quote? That true happiness lies in when what you say, what you do, and how you feel are all totally in alignment. You know, and I really keep that close to my heart, because as I'm sure we all have, and I'll be really honest, sometimes I'm not in alignment. Sometimes, you know, the things that I think and feel are not what are actually happening. You know, sometimes, yeah, all that, you know, the stories I love to tell myself. And I think that alignment is something that is a practice, but it's definitely really important. So those are my 3 non-negotiables.
I want to know your take on conscious leadership. So I was calling this feminine leadership, and then that didn't feel good in my system anymore. And I went, no, it's not about feminine or masculine, because we need both of them, and both of them are that Shakti dancing in our system. So I want to, if I change it to conscious leadership, talk to me about conscious leadership.
I like that. You know, it's really interesting, because I don't know, I've got mega imposter syndrome, right? Like
many of us do.
Mega. Like, who the fuck am I? And so the minute you ask me that question, I have to be really honest.
Okay.
I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not a leader. What do you mean? You know, and then I'm like, no, hang on. That's, you know, chill out, Melodie. It's all right. But like, yeah, I definitely, because that question is so like deep and heavy. Okay. What does that mean to be a leader who is consciously and consistently aware of the energy that they are bringing into any space, the message that they are spreading to the people that they are leading, the example that they are setting for everyone? Fuck, I don't know if I want all of that on me. That's like so
to go deep with me.
Heavy.
I hate to dive into a coaching session with you here, but I'm like, you know, oh my God, I really want to go deep with you on this now.
I feel like that's something that a lot of women, right, if we can bring it back to the feminine, because it's the masculine's divine right to lead.
Yes.
You know, without necessarily being conscious. And so I feel like now if I have to bring it back to myself and, you know, do I feel consciously that it's my divine right to lead? No. I have to fight through that. I want to, And I think that, yeah, when you talk about leadership, I'm like, yeah, I've read all the books. Yeah. I know all the rules of being a leader and, changing my pocket and however, when I think about conscious leadership, it takes it back to my non-negotiables, right? Like, is it high quality? Is it purposeful? Is it aligned? All of, I need to be conscious of the way that I am, presenting myself to the world and being a leader. And that just scares the shit out of me. I hope I'm not the only one.
Yeah. I think, you raise amazing points. Or like, how do we navigate this? How do we navigate I start to think about like how women right now, and I'm not saying all, there's amazing women in leadership out there, but there is this tone to do it in a masculine way.
Yes.
Because that's been our only narrative. That's all we've seen. That's all we've witnessed is like, this is how it's done. So doing it in a different way is trend setting. And it's polarizing, and it brings up stuff for everyone, like everyone involved. Like, I'm used to being, even for women, hey, I'm used to being led this way. And you're taking me in this other direction that discombobulates in my system, because that's where we're going. And so, and we can have talks about liberal or radical feminism and all that as well, but we don't go down that road today. When we start to like, where are the examples of this? And what we have to realize is we do have some women out there, we can follow their lead, but we're also watching lots of women fall and fall really hard through this because they've done it in a way that is still of the patriarchal, or they're benefiting still from the patriarchy. And we're witnessing this and watching them fall. Like, I can think of some big brands out there that are falling hard right now. And, so thank you, sisters, for falling on the sword so we can learn how not to do it. So as much as we want to, we don't want to throw another sister on the pyre. So we can look at it and go, thank you, sister, falling on the sword, seeing how that still was not the right way. And it's such a big conversation around how are we going to do this in a different way that's feminine and conscious and still in honor of. And it's polarizing, paradigm shifting, all of those things.
Well, and I think that's why to me, it is such a loaded question. Is if you ask me about leadership, it's very easy for me to answer that. But when you ask me about conscious leadership, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So not only do I know what I'm doing, I know why I'm doing it, I know the effect that it's having on the world all the time. I'm conscious of that. And I'm conscious of the fact that I am not going to be like my forefathers or my foremothers. I am going to lead in the way that I lead consciously. And it can be frightening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big call.
Yeah.
It's a massive call out, and it's a massive stepping up to do, well, even if you think about your industry, when you think about what you're doing, that's leadership. Hello, I'm about to do something that isn't really popular or done, doesn't dictate huge profitability from the standard of what's currently existing.
It's true. If I told all of you that you were not good enough and you needed my product, I would be a millionaire already.
Exactly. Instead, you're going, hey, actually, you're perfect. Yeah, but did you want to put this mascara on? Because it feels good. Because
it feels great. And you deserve it, and you should, take care of yourself. But it's, that's the funny
when your eyes are really puffy and half closed like mine are a lot. Like, see, they're even like that right now.
I know.
So,
it's taking the steps and feeling, when you feel like you're going somewhere that no one has ever gone before, it's really, really scary. And you just have to, I actually posted this on social media the other day, on my personal social media, which I don't post too often because I'm,
busy.
Yeah. And also, who am I? Nobody cares what I'm doing. Right. Thank you. But it was, sometimes you got to get up and put on your big girl pants and put on some lipstick and get shit done. And I feel like that is, that realization is, my traditional sort of view of what leadership is. And like, I got to get up and I got to do it and I got to get shit done. But my conscious leadership path is, yes, all of those things. However, how am I doing it? How am I getting this shit done?
Yes. Okay. It's the how.
It's the how, I think.
Okay.
Because anybody, company A gets shit done, and company B gets shit done while also saving the planet. you know, company A has a meeting and company B has a meeting. And then at the end, we all, you know, we get to meditate and redirect our soul's path, you know, so everyone feels really good. You know, like there's a way to lead, and there's a way to lead in the way that you know that you are leading people to something better. You're not just leading your company or yourself, you know, like, and that's one of the things that is so important to me as the leader in my company, is that everyone who works for me knows I'm not just concerned about bringing the company, you know, and myself into something better. Every single person, and again, it's that high quality interaction. Every single person who works for Elate leaves or stays better than they were when they started. They have more skills, they have more confidence, they're more in touch with their own spirituality, they are more conscious. So, there we go. Long answer short, conscious leadership is about creating space for the people that you are leading to become more conscious.
Beautiful. Oh, tweetable.
Took me a while to get there.
It's a sweet tweet. It's a sweet tweet, as I like to call them. I liked it. I'll have to review it later and tweet it.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about creativity?
Yeah.
Does that word resonate with you?
It does.
Okay. Talk to me about your creativity.
You know what's really funny? This is another one of those things that it may even be a trigger for some other people as well. But when I was growing up, you know, I wasn't the pretty one, right? You know, sometimes like in our little like strange feminism growing up, right? Like, you know, look at this girl, she's so pretty. Oh, and Julie's the smart one, and Sarah's the pretty one, and Melodie, she's the creative one.
Oh,
that was always my word.
That's your label.
That was always my label.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm the first person to admit, like, labels can be very dangerous, especially, and you have a daughter, I have a daughter, and I'm very conscious of the labels that I impose on her. You know, we kind of have a rule in my house that we don't ever call her anything. We don't ever say, you are so this, or you are this. We always say, oh, you're working really hard on that, or, oh, right? Like, we're really careful about it because, you know, I am so, like, the label creative stuck to me for so many years, to the point where I realized that I actually don't feel like I was that creative, because I may have been actively fighting against that label. Wow. You know, and so I stepped out of my creativity because I felt like I wasn't good enough. You know, I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be a painter, I wanted to be a sculptor, I wanted to do something that felt creative. And of course, the first thing you always think of, or maybe it's just me, when I hear the word creative, is something artistic, right? Okay. But what I didn't realize, you know, and then fast forward, I become, you know, a semi-functioning adult, and I realized that, semi-functioning, I realized that creativity is not about being able to draw or to paint or to put words on the page. Creativity is about molding your view of the world in a way that always looks beautiful. So creativity to me is about, you know, when I wake up in the morning and I do my sun salutation and I can stop and listen to the world around me, how do I shape that in my mind? How do I allow that to shape my day? That's creativity. You know, I feel like
that's beautiful.
I suffered a long time feeling like I never was up to the label they had given me. You know, like, oh, Melodie's the creative one. Look at how creative she is. You know, she draws and she paints, and no, I never did any of that shit particularly well, but I still enjoyed it, you know? And I think that for me, the realization that the joy is in the doing, not the result, that now creativity for me is just whenever I'm doing, whenever I'm being, I'm creating, right? It's creating your life. It's creating your experience. Creativity is everything. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm going to tell you a funny story about labels.
Oh, please.
So my parents, we were with my mom, we were driving. I was in the front seat, and then my other brother is like 3.5 years younger than me, and then my youngest brother's 10 years younger than me. So he maybe would have been 4, and then the other one would have been like, I think I was probably 14 or so. And we were talking about labels, and I went, I'm a jock. And then my next brother goes, I'm a burnout. And then the 4-year-old goes, when I grow up, I want to be a sex object. So those labels. So this has been a funny story that has gone through our household for years, and just these labels, and that's what made me think about it, because I was an athlete. That was my label I wore. And then, but my little brother. And so we always, I'm like, and did he achieve it? And he's like, oh, did I ever?
Oh,
so,
right? That's the thing.
So he's like, if he made his goal very young. I don't know where he even learned that word. Oh my gosh. I was probably saying something as a feminist back then.
Probably,
So
yes.
funny.
That sounds right. But right. 14-year-olds sure be. Don't make me a sex
Sex
object.
How dare you? So funny. That is so amazing. What do you wish every woman knew?
So what I wish every woman knew is there's probably a lot of women that know this already, but for those of us that didn't and those of us that still don't, it's okay to not care what anybody else thinks. I spent a lot of time, and I still do sometimes. I try not, I dedicate a very small block in my calendar for it. Caring about what 7 p.m. Tuesday, care about what other people think.
And you know what it could be? Like, to care, maybe it's just the feedback that you maybe wish to integrate.
I think, yeah. And I mean, definitely feedback is important to me. I want to know what people think in terms of, what is happening, but more in terms of like, well, don't do that. What will the neighbors think? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things that I spent a lot of my time worrying about what people thought of me, what people thought of what I was doing. And because I was worrying about what people were thinking, I wasn't doing the things that I wanted to do, You
can't be on purpose.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing. Like when I talk about joy and I talk about infusing joy into every day, right? My everyday joy plan. I, for years, didn't do the things that I loved because I was worried that people would think I was good at them. I'm not good at them and I don't care. I still do them anyway, and I think that is something that a lot of women can relate to, is that we worry a lot about what other people think. And, you really just need to, do what you want to do and be worried about what you think.
What's interesting about this is, and I coach a lot about this, is how much time do we actually spend thinking about other people and what they're doing? Like, how much time are we actually spending in judgment? So yes, we are human. We have moments where we're in judgment, but do we let it affect us? All those things. So we have to think about that and go, I actually spent no time today thinking about anybody but myself and my reactions and my work in the world. So why am I assuming that other people are thinking about me?
Absolutely.
And it's the funniest thing that we put ourselves in these boxes. We turn our stomachs into knots in this perpetual bullshit that other people really care.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the idea that, we're also worried about like, oh, how do I look? This is a big thing too, is I'm so worried about how I look. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's looking at you.
And in fact,
nobody's looking at you.
We're like, oh, they're so gorgeous.
But we're all busy worrying about ourselves. You know what I mean? Like I'm so worried about how I looked at, a party that I was at a few weeks ago, or when I was on stage talking about something, or, I'm so worried about how I looked. And then everyone else is like, oh no, I was worried that you would notice this. Or, the minute I'll meet a woman who I know uses my product, the first thing they'll be is like, oh, I'm not wearing my lipstick today. And I'm like, no, I don't care. It's fine. Like, don't worry about it. I'm not thinking about you. Like, I'm thinking about you because I love you, but I'm not thinking about how you look.
I also think maybe social media is a massive contribution to this because depending on, I don't pay attention to a lot of like the reality TV or any of that kind of stuff, but I think, what I think is happening for most of the women I know is we're, our audiences are growing, we're saying things. And I sometimes think about who I posted a video, I'm like, ooh, was there anything offensive in that? And then I go, oh, well, I get myself in knots. Was I politically correct? Did I, and I swear sometimes I'm like, ooh, and I've gotten in shit for swearing. And
it's just words.
It's just words. And that's the thing, like, I don't give these words that power. If you choose to, thank you for the feedback, but I think I'll still swear. Yeah. So I'm an adult, I'm allowed to. Justification.
Yeah.
So I think that is also what's coming into our narrative now, where it's like, oh, now I'm really worried because the world is seeing and anything can be recalled that you typed years ago, no matter if you destroy it or not. And so I've had some big conversations with other women around, what do we do about our content that we put out 10 years ago?
Yes.
And is it still relative? Because we're different people than we were 10 years ago.
Oh, totally.
And then a part of me goes, no, let's leave it all up.
Yeah.
So that you can see that I'm actually human. I have had a growth process. Just as I'm aging, I also have had this massive growing up to do. And you get to witness me grow up.
Absolutely.
And then I think about, how hard we are on some celebrities and things about their fall downs and their addictions and all that. And they go into judgment. And I'm like, yeah, because you witnessed them grow up.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
Wow, thank God there wasn't a camera on me through my college years. That's all I have to say.
No kidding. Yeah. And I think that that is something that is worth talking about as well, is why are we so hard on these people that are in the public eye that have problems just like you or I? If it was my cousin or my brother or my friend or, my friend's cousin who, overdosed or, was addicted to drugs or whatever, we would give them so much compassion. However, for whatever reason, there's this idea that it's okay.
Because they're removed from us. They're removed from us.
But are they?
They're not.
Not anymore.
But they assume.
Have you seen, I'm sure you guys have seen this, it's fucking hilarious. The celebrities read mean tweets about themselves.
So funny.
It's so funny.
I know. I like to read some of the things.
I know.
Some of the things that I've been sent to them. And it's so funny. When I got my first hate mail, I actually got so excited.
I know, you're like, I made it.
I'm like, I feel like I've had this sort of arrival. Yeah. Like, I finally was like, you are fat. Stop thinking you're such a goddess. And it was like all these things. And I remember, and my sister-in-law chimed in, and she goes, has she ever seen you in a swimsuit?
Oh.
And it was so funny. It was and I loved it. It was just so amusing. But I can realize, I can also appreciate that the onslaught of it would be exhausting. And I even witnessed one of my good friends who was like, she's had something shared 1,000, 3,000 times. And she's like, I would suggest to put it on Medium. Not my friend.
Yeah.
And, but she's like, I don't want to have to deal with the comments. Yeah. So here we kind of
don't read them. Don't read the comments.
Yeah. So we end up in these little cages going, what do I pay attention to? And I'm like, yeah, it's exhausting.
Well, and and again, you can't, you know what? No one can be a fucking sentient being at all times, right? Let me just put that out there. I am not, I don't know anyone who is. You can't help but sometimes feel like, what is this person needing? Why are they lashing out? Why are they so concerned about how someone's body looks? But then bring it back in. Why am I so concerned about how someone's body looks? Right? Just the other day, I will admit this, there was a young girl in Red Barn Market. We'll make this Victoria. And she was wearing I think they were supposed to be shorts, but I personally don't think you can call it shorts if I can see your vagina. And a tiny little triangle bikini top. And she was, I don't know, maybe 18. And I watched her walk by me and immediately my brain was like, what the fuck? Because my first reaction was, holy shit, if that was my daughter, I'd be losing my mind. Because I think she was with her dad. There was an older gentleman with her. And then I was like I had all of these strange reactions going through my mind. Yeah. And then I was like, hang on, that is her right to wear her little booty shorts and her bikini kind of a top out.
What we're fighting for?
And, right? Exactly. And so, and this is the thing, I had to totally put myself in check. And I was like, I can't believe that I just reacted that way. What was it that triggered that reaction? Was it my own shame about my own body? Was it my own, there's all this kind of shit that happens. And unfortunately, the internet takes that out. I never would have walked up to her and been get tripped up your vagina back in your shorts. I just wouldn't ever do that. However, would I have tweeted at her if she had put that photo online? I wouldn't have, because I personally don't believe that social media is a place to be a total dick. Yeah. But at the same time, I might have seen that and been like, ugh, and noticed the comments that went into her and felt like, oh, maybe she deserved those negative comments, And so if we can all take a step back and look at these stories that we're telling ourselves and figuring out why are we reacting that way, this is great. So I was in the gym the other day, and around the corner from where I was, I couldn't see it happening, but I heard it. There were two maybe 10-year-old girls, and they were giggling and laughing because they'd been in the pool, and I think they'd been wearing mascara, and their mascara had all run down their face, right? And it was quite sweet. I was just listening to their 10-year-old conversation. And then I was going to say a middle-aged woman. I'm almost a middle-aged woman. She probably was in her late 50s, I want to say, came around, walked past me, and walked around the corner, and that's where her locker was. And about a minute passed, and then I heard her turn and address the girls. And she said, do you wear makeup? And they were like, yeah, we're wearing mascara. And they were like not cool with this woman just randomly talking to them. I didn't see it, so I didn't see any of the body language, but I could tell from their voices that they were like, what is this woman saying to us? Imagine you're 10 at the gym in the locker room, and a random woman you don't know, a grown-up, comes up to you and starts asking you about yourself, right? About something personal, like what you put on your face. And she says, are you wearing makeup? And they were like, yeah. And she said, oh, do all your friends at school wear makeup? And she started to, her voice started to sound a little bit more aggressive. And the girls both said, yeah, a few of our friends do. And they sounded kind of like, they weren't being confrontational. They were being more like, please leave us alone. We're just trying to have a fun time here. And they were in bathing suits, of course, I have to say, right? So you're also feeling at 10. And then she said, and I burst out into tears actually in the locker room, because she said, I think you're too young to wear makeup. I don't think that looks good. And I was like, rah! I couldn't believe that she said this to them. So now I'm like, what do I do in this situation? I don't want to have a confrontation in the locker room. I'm also nude at the time, drying myself off. And so I just waited, and they did not respond. And then I heard them walk over to the sink, and they both started removing their mascara with paper towels. And I sat in the moment in my towel, and I just sat there, and I thought to myself, what do I do here? Do I confront this woman and talk to her about what she just did to those two 10-year-old girls? When you are 10, you are on the edge of pubescence, right? And you are exploring. So if the worst thing that you're doing to rebel from your parents is wearing some mascara, I think that you're doing pretty well. Do you know what I mean? And so this woman had, for some reason, felt like it was okay for her to comment on, she never would have commented on their bodies. She never would have commented on, their braces or, their toenail polish or whatever it happens to be, because that all seems to be not acceptable to talk about. But for some reason, she felt like it was okay to tell them that she thought they were too young to wear makeup. And potentially, she derailed their whole fun time they were having, and potentially gave them some type of complex about their faces and what they were putting on their faces. I felt like she was removing ownership of their own
projection,
right?
Projecting. Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, do I go to this woman and say, hey, that wasn't okay? But then I was like, well, no, because who knows what made her say that to them? Maybe her 10-year-old daughter started wearing mascara and then eventually succumbed to drugs. You know what I mean? I don't know. But what I did do is I got up afterwards, I got dressed, and I approached the girls. They were in the mirror again, they kind of had stopped chatting at that point. And I said, hey, I own a makeup company, and I just wanted to let you know a little tip. If you go swimming and you don't want your mascara to run everywhere, just carry a little bit of olive oil in your gym bag, and then you can take the mascara off before you go in the pool, and then you won't get runny eyes. And they were like, thank you. Oh, and they were just so grateful, I think, that I just
what I think what happened to them
is
they felt accepted.
Yes.
I think in one situation they felt judged and condemned.
Yes.
And now you brought them to a place. So I think you might have fixed it. I think you brought them to a place that I accept you. You are still okay.
Yeah.
You have not been bad girls.
But isn't that funny though, that this is, we think that all this stuff is okay. This woman thought it was okay to comment on what these two young girls were doing because I'm an elder, you're young, I know more about the world than you do, so I'm going to comment on this thing that you're doing and let you know that it's not okay. And I feel like the internet takes that and multiplies it.
Yeah.
And I think that if we can all sit back for a moment, if that woman, maybe she's out there today, could sit back and say, what is it that triggered me to say something like that to these young girls? Did she not know? Did she not know how devastating it is for a strange adult woman to approach two young girls and comment on their faces? Did she not know that? Maybe she didn't, but why didn't she know? because we all think it's okay all the time to comment on other people's bodies, clothes, faces, hair. We somehow, this is acceptable. It's acceptable for me to be like, oh, you're so skinny. Even though for someone who's suffering, you know, from some type of eating disorder, that's a terrible thing to say, but you don't know. We think it's acceptable, right? I would never walk up to you and be like, oh, you're so pudgy today. Like, you know, like it just, we wouldn't do that, you know, like, so why is it okay to comment, whether it's positive or negative? You're projecting your own opinions on someone else's body, and that's not cool. I think that that's something that we need to think about. And that was a tangent, but
that's okay.
Sorry.
Thanks for the tangent. We got it. We got the message. And before this gets too long, I think maybe we should wrap up. Is there any last things we want to say, or are we good? Melodie and I just riff like this all the time.
I know. There's so many things happening in the world right now that I feel so passionate about, because we're all losing touch with kindness, you know, like, and I'll bring it up just because I can, so this is going to be timely, but like even the US president and what's happening with Donald Trump and all those things, people are just mean all the time. Now it's okay to be mean. You know, there is this person in power that is not thoughtful or conscious and has said and done some pretty mean things. And now I feel like the whole tone, like laying over like a cloud of North America specifically, is that it's okay to be mean as long as it's on the internet. You know, it's okay to because it's your opinion and you're entitled to it, so you can say it. And yeah, absolutely. I'm all about your opinion and you're entitled to it and you can say it. However, you know, if your opinion is oppressive, brutal and oppressive, and, you know,
it's going to bring harm.
Yeah, then, you know what? Maybe don't tweet it. Maybe just talk amongst yourselves at the next, you know, racist cocktail party you're at.
Yeah. From two white girls.
Yeah, right? You were cordially invited to my racist cocktail party, you know? Like,
yes.
But yeah, so, so my biggest wish is that everyone just brings it down to kindness a little bit more. You know, once a day, if you can take that word and compassion and kindness.
Okay.
Just bring it back down.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yay.
Melodie says be kind.
Thank you.
I'm back her on that. Have an amazing day, and I hope you enjoy this. And if you want to leave comments, you can. But if they're mean, you can't.
Oh, no, mean ones are fine too.
Oh, they're okay?
Yeah.
We just don't read them.
We just don't read them, yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. Take care, guys.